So now, actually, we're going back right to the beginning, to 1830. When I challenge my students to tell me, okay, when does Romanticism start in music? They come up with various ideas. Someone would say, the death of Beethoven, and that's a fair idea, or the death of Weber, and all around the same time, death of Schubert. But largely speaking, we can mark the idea of when Romanticism has hit its stride in music by the first performance of the Symphonie Fantastique of Berlioz. By that point, the ideas inherent, the way they're going to do romantic music has pretty much coalesced, and it coalesces really in this symphony, and that is the 5th of December, 1830. That's an important day. Some people, the night before is even more important, the 4th of December. It's the night that Liszt and Berlioz met for the very first time. And they realised they had an instant kinship. Berlioz was dying to hear some more Beethoven sonatas, which he couldn't hear in Paris, and so Liszt went over and played lots of Beethoven sonatas to him. By return, Liszt had never come across Goethe's Faust, which had just been published in a French translation. And so Berlioz gave him Faust, which was going to be a lifelong obsession with Liszt, whether it was the Faust Symphony or the Mephisto Waltz or all of these things. Very, very important all the way through his life. So this was a really extraordinary meeting. The first performance of the Symphonie Fantastique was very, very well regarded and very famous. But Berlioz couldn't afford to publish the score. Simple as that. And Liszt, a young man, he's in his late teens, early 20s. He says, oh no, it's all right. I will transcribe the whole of this symphony for solo piano and publish it at my own expense. And for 15 years, if you wanted to buy the Berlioz Symphonie Fantastique, this is all you could have. This is the piano transcription. When Schumann gives his review of the Symphonie Fantastique, he says, it's not from the full score I'm doing it, it's from Liszt's transcription, but Liszt has written in the instrumentation as he goes along, so that really I've got everything I need to know how this piece would sound. And it is an extraordinary transcription. So I'm just going to play you the fourth movement. Liszt, as far as I know in public, only played two of the movements, the second, the ball, and the fourth, the march to the scaffold. And there's a wonderful description of him coming on stage as a full orchestra. They've just played the fourth movement, and they say it's an amazing effect. And then Liszt walked on, and just at the piano seemed to be even more loud, even more extraordinary, even more mesmeric than the full orchestra of 80 people behind him. And this is important culturally, because of course this really is the point where the piano moves out of the corner of the drawing room, where nice young ladies in Jane Austen novels learn to play it in order to be more marriageable, and becomes centre stage as a concert instrument. Because the idea is that this one man can do the job of 80 people, and do it so charismatically that this instrument now is centre stage. And it's going to be this iconic thing for the next, well, I don't know, depending on your point of view, 100, 200 years. I'll tell you a little secret. Next week, I'm going to India. I'm playing some concerts, but I'm actually also launching a new car. BMW. Of course I am. This is my shock. 200 years after the piano, more than 200 years after the piano is invented, BMW realised that in India and China they needed more cachet. So what did they do? They've got together with Steinways, and they've designed the BMW Steinway Series 7 motor car, which I promise you, it's got Steinway detailing and all the leather. It looks beautiful. It's got a fabulous finish. It plays double octaves by itself. No, it isn't extraordinary. Now, the point I'm trying to make is 200 years on, and people are still using this image of a keyboard and a piano to suggest some kind of cachet, some kind of class, some kind of importance, some kind of romantic icon, which is an extraordinary idea so far after the piano has been invented. So this is the fourth march. The composer has, or the artist, sorry, has taken a drugs overdose in order to kill himself of opium. It hasn't worked, and he's hallucinating that he's killed the beautiful woman who won't have anything to do with him, and he's now being marched to the scaffold. And right at the end, you will hear this, which is his head rolling off on the guillotine. And then the crowd cheers.